welcome to Breathe Better with Elizabeth. I'm Elizabeth. I'm going to go over shortness of air when you have COPD. Now, this is going to kind of piggyback off of the video that I did about all of the different illnesses that can cause shortness of breath. I get asked all the time, why do I get short of breath even though my oxygen level is good? So that's a very common question, and I want to try to give you as much information about that as I can. So this is specific for people who have COPD. So I'm going to start it off with the most obvious, and that is the low oxygen levels. So if your oxygen saturation is low, you can certainly get short of breath with that. Next, I have bronchoconstriction. So this is when your airways are going to constrict. So they're going to kind of close up a little bit. If you hear yourself wheezing, more than likely that is the cause of that if you have COPD. So that one is very, very frequent. If you suffer from shortness of breath throughout the day, chances are you're going to have a little bit of bronchoconstriction there causing that. Now next on here, I have excess mucus. This is kind of obvious. It's going to get caught in your airways. It can block your airways. It can be hard to cough up, which can take a lot of muscle strain as well as a lot of energy to try to cough it up. So excess mucus definitely is a big one when you have COPD. Now under that I have deconditioning of your muscles. So this one is a little more complicated. When your activity levels decrease because of your shortness of air, when you have COPD, your muscles will get weak. Now, weak muscles actually utilize more oxygen than strong muscles do. So when you get up to try to do something, if your muscles are weak, it's going to use more oxygen and it will make you more short of breath. So this one, it's a hard one for people to realize because they don't realize how quickly this can happen. But this can happen within days, okay? So that's why I always tell people to keep moving. Just make sure you're moving a little bit every day. Next on here is bloating. So if you eat something that is going to cause a lot of gas, or you overeat, or have digestive issues in general, the bloating, of course, will push up on your diaphragm and it's going to give you less room in here for your lungs to expand. So when your stomach is bigger and pushing up, you just have, this much room to breathe in. So it limits how much you can breathe in. Loss of elasticity. This is just part of the disease process of COPD. Your lungs, they start off kind of like balloons. They'll blow up and go back together, blow up, back. When you have COPD, a lot of times the ends of your lungs will just sort of start breaking apart so that they're called alveoli, the little alveoli in the bases of your lungs, the walls kind of start to break down, and that will decrease the elasticity of your lungs. So they'll come up and they'll have a much harder time going back down, okay? And then last but not least is anxiety. So more than likely, if you have COPD, you also have anxiety. And that is just gonna be your body's natural reaction to being short of breath. But when you're short of breath continuously, or you suffer from bouts of it throughout the day, it can actually cause anxiety because your body will get stuck in the fight or flight mode, and then it just sort of makes you anxious even if you're not short of breath. So that can kind of be an endless circle there, because the anxiety can cause shortness of breath, but the shortness of breath can cause anxiety. So now that you know the different things that can cause it, I want to quickly go over ways that you can help these different things. So the low oxygen level, you never want to turn your oxygen up until you talk to your doctor. But if you are on oxygen and you have a consistently low level of oxygen that is causing shortness of breath, then you definitely want to talk to your doctor about maybe increasing your oxygen. The bronchoconstriction, what you're going to do there is you're going to be taking your rescue inhalers, but also you can prevent some of this bronchoconstriction if you take a daily inhaled medication. I know a lot of people don't like the idea of taking inhaled steroids, but they are much different than systemic or oral steroids. So an inhaled steroid when you have COPD, I personally believe is something that you definitely need to take every day. It's going to decrease the inflammation in your lungs, which will decrease mucus, and it will also decrease the bronchoconstriction. So breathing meds are pretty much the only thing that's going to help with the bronchoconstriction. Excess mucus, there's lots you can do here. You want to make sure that you're eating anti-inflammatories to decrease the inflammation and decrease the mucus. You want to drink lots of water, that'll keep the mucus thin. You can also, there are different medicines that you can take that will help break up mucus. You can always do, percussion, which I've shown you in other videos, and PEP therapy using an acapella or a flutter valve can help with that also. Now, the deconditioning of the muscles, I always recommend that you start off with breathing exercises because the muscles that you use to breathe, they get deconditioned as well. So you want to start off with breathing exercises, then seated exercises, and then you can start or go into the standing exercises. But basically, you want to make sure that you're moving every day, and you just take it a little bit at a time, increasing as you go, okay? So you start off small, and then you work up to the big things. Give yourself goals, write them down, and that tends to really help people. The bloating, you can take like a gas pill before you eat. You can eat smaller meals, and you can still eat the same amount of food, but just break it up into smaller meals more often throughout the day. And you can also keep a food log to kind of see what foods or drinks tend to make you bloated, because for most people, they have certain foods that they're not allergic to, but they might just be a tiny bit intolerant to, and so it will cause the gas and the bloating. If you keep a food log and a journal, you can try to pinpoint those things and either try to cut them out of your diet completely or at least minimize them. The loss of elasticity, not a whole lot you can do about that. You just want to try to make sure that you don't get frequent lung infections, you stay away from certain triggers, you stay away from smoke. And then the anxiety, most people do need to go on some sort of an anti-anxiety medication, but you can also try meditation. Exercise helps a lot with that as well. So lots of stuff on here. If you have any questions, just jot them down. I always get back with you. You can share my videos, and that way other people can benefit from them. And that's it. So we'll see you later. Bye.